There's two ways to install our Taycan charger. One way you can have a little bit of wire showing, about that much. And then the other way is it'll look like it came with your car factory installed. You won't have any wires showing. It'll be just like that. So either way, we include this cigarette lighter adapter, even though there's USB ports in here. We go ahead and use this cigarette lighter adapter because the USB ports in the car cannot supply enough power for the MagSafe standard. So these chargers need about 18 watts and these tap out at about 12 watts. If you use them, what will happen is your phone will charge and then stop charging and charge and stop charging. And that's the port turning itself on and off when it feels too much current going through. So use our cigarette lighter adapter. The unit comes set up for the stealth install where you don't see any wires. And I'm going to do the wire showing install first. And to do that, we need to modify this a little bit. You see this little notch here that we're going to make the wire come out of. So you just kind of grab the puck and grab the base and then pull them apart. And then pull all this wire out. And we can just let this rest in here. And then go ahead and plug this into the cigarette lighter adapter. And then we're going to route this up here. So leave a little bit of slack. Don't pull this super tight. You might end up with some damage after a while. You know, just leave a couple inches so it's going to kind of sit in there nicely. And then on the bottom of this cup holder, or on the side of this cup holder, there's a little groove. You just take your fingers and just mash it into the groove. And then it'll be hidden. And then once you get up here, hold the bottom and then just take the wire and just pull it over so it just kind of goes in, just kind of gently. And now this wire is kind of hidden. No one's going to see it. And then we're going to take all this excess wire, put it back in this hole. And then get this notch to the front. And then kind of route the wire to how we think it's going to be. Kind of mark it and then slide it into a little notch. And then we're going to want to put this piece back on. And you'll see there's a little alignment pin here so you can get stuff aligned properly. And then it just snaps back together. Just make sure that stayed in the groove, didn't pop out. And then I think I made this a little too long, so you can still adjust. You can just pull it through. Just pull it slowly. Want to make it look kind of nice. That looks pretty good. Go ahead and just push it in, just so it sits kind of like right below the color ring. And then you're all done. So that's the easy way. Charging, good to go. And then I will show you the more extended way where we're not going to see any wire. All right, to begin the Taycan install, all you're going to need is a screwdriver, and that's the only tool you're going to need. Do not use this to pry around your car. You will be sorry. You will scrape stuff, you will bend stuff, so we're not going to use it for that. First thing is open the little console door here. And we actually are going to use it for one tiny pry here. There's the world's tiniest trim piece right here, and this needs to come out. So just at the very, very bottom, you just go ahead and pull it and put your thumb or something on it, because if you don't, it'll go flying and then you'll probably gouge your cup holder or part of your car somewhere. So let's go ahead and just put that aside for now. And we're not going to need the screwdriver for a little bit. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out this cup holder, even though we're installing here, because our wire is going to go through here. So there are several clips in here. The easiest way is just to grab it here. And these clips are really strong. So if you just take this and rip really hard, you're probably going to hit yourself in the face, hit your hands on the ceiling. And also there's two wires in here. So if you rip this all the way out, you're going to be ripping out those wires too. So two hands, and just kind of wiggle it around and pry it. You'll start hearing the clips kind of giving, and this thing is in here really tight, and you can hear it, and it sounds like you're braking your car, but you're not. All right, so that whole time that I was pulling, I was kind of keeping my hands braced on stuff just so I don't slip and just destroy my car. All right, so that is out. Here's the wires. Those eliminate the little ring in there. The next part is we're going to take out this cup holder. This one has 2, 4, 6 clips holding it together. They are also very strong, and you're going to want to pry, but don't pry with something, even with a trim tool, because you will probably mess up this or you'll crack your screen. And I might even suggest that you tape a cloth across here or have someone put their hand here, just in case you do jerk. You don't want to mess up your screen here. The other thing is you might want to turn off your car. I'm not afraid, so I'm just leaving this car on for now. And the easiest way to get this out is to lift this corner. And you see that just kind of lifted up. Again, bracing my hands on the car so I'm kind of grounded. So that was the first clip. Once you have that out, you can just kind of grab the cup and keep kind of moving it around. And there you go. Here's one thing you don't want to do. If, say, all the left clips come out and just your right ones are, do not lift this way. You will probably break those clips. So once you have the clips going, you hear 1 or 2 pop, you want to be pulling from the back so that it kind of comes out that way. Just the way the clips are oriented. If you were to go left or right really strong, you're going to go ahead and probably break the clips off, and then your cup holder will not sit in there very nicely. When you're done, you'll have to order a new cup holder. So those are all done. These are the 2 wires. I always just double check and make sure that I didn't bump something on the way out. Okay, so since we're installing here, we have our 4 little drink holders. We're gonna need to remove one of the drink holder tensioners. And I'm gonna do that with a different unit just so you can kind of see up close. Here's the unit as it sits in your car. I usually take out this one, so this would be on the right side back. And the way these little tensioners work or are held in is this clip here and this little nub, and they're really super tiny. So clip, nub, and all you need to do is take your screwdriver and just get it so it's horizontal in that slot, so it spreads these little clips, these little wings, and then once that's done, you can slide the whole thing down, and then it comes out just like that. Super easy. This is, something you can put back in one day if you sell your car or something like that. So put that aside. So now we have this is my extra one, and I've already done it to this one, so we're all prepped here. All right, so now we're gonna take the MagSafe holder and go ahead and fish it through. And we're not gonna go ahead and insert this yet because we're gonna wanna coil up this slack when we're done here. So we'll just set that there for now. Get this kind of out of the way. So plug it in here. Doesn't matter, top or bottom. When you're doing this, all tangled up here, this wire is going to be hidden on the right side of this trim. So this is facing the passenger and underneath. So on the bottom and underneath is a little bit of a cavity. And this doesn't have to go deep, it's just to keep it so nobody sees it. So take that and just kind of pull it snug through there. And then I usually just like to leave like a couple inches. So I'm gonna pull this maybe a little bit tighter. Something like that. Just so it's out of the way, but it's also not, don't like take this and just bend it 90 degrees because you'll probably snap off your USB-C in the socket after a while. So you can kind of feel around. If you have someone helping you, or you can just stick your head over there, make sure you're good. And it's gonna go up in there, make sure you're all good. And I'm gonna take it out just for 1 second here, because this wire, once I have that in there, I'm gonna take this wire and right here in front of like this plastic dam, it's just a tiniest little like crevice, little pathway, and the wire is gonna lay in there, and that's gonna keep it also out of the way and hidden. So coming back to this, get it all situated, get a nice length on it, kind of feel that it's seated. Oh, one more thing. So when you pull it out, these metal clips are what hold this tray in, this cup holder in. Sometimes when you pull this out, these become dislodged. Just make sure they're back nice and flat. If you have one, you know, halfway out and you try to mash this down, you're gonna break something. So all right, I'm not all the way in yet. I'm just kind of seated nicely and finding the groove, putting it in the groove. In the groove, seated nicely, good slack, and then we can just go ahead and start pushing it back down. Should fit pretty much nice and flat again. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull the rest of this slack out of here. And here is the clip that's going on the passenger side. I'm sure there's many ways you could do this, but I do it so that this wire is inside of the clip. It's going to be inside of the clip. Just make sure the clip hole, which is here, also make sure these clips are all nice and straight. The clip, I guess, receiver is here. Just make sure it's on this side, the inside, because your wire is on the inside of the clip. And just kind of keep pulling it snug until it's down. Everything looks good, everything feels good, and then we can go ahead and snap this in. I guess one advantage to doing this with your car on is you'll see that your rings are still lighted. And this would be a early warning that, you know, if you had knocked one of those plugs out, these would no longer be lit up. So, all right, nice and seated. Everything looks factory again. I take the one drink tensioner and I just leave it in the bottom of the cup. That way when you sell your car one day, it's gonna be able to put it back in, no problem. Here's that tiny trim piece. I just kind of mashed that in while I was talking to you. And then we're gonna go ahead and take the slack of this wire, just coil it up in the bottom as much as we can. And then this should be, if this were an egg and this were the yolk, your egg yolk wants to be to the front. And so start it off kind of, don't just start mashing it in. Get it all, you know, level, get it straight so that this is at the top here. And once it's all good, your wire's down, everything looks good, it's flat, I would just start pushing this down front and back until you can see your light ring again. It is possible to go a little bit further. You don't need to. In fact, don't do it, because if you go too deep, your phone's going to start hitting here on the Taycan logo. But so front and back, right below that ring is when it's going to pretty much firm up, and it's not going to be it's compression fit, so it's not going anywhere. And then that is pretty much done. If I can find a phone to put on here. All good to go, all installed. If you're worried about your phone rubbing on here, just take a piece of paper. If you can slide it in, that means you're good. You got this, that means the base is in nice and level. If you go like this, you can't get it in, it means you're hitting most likely a camera bump. Pull it out and just push down on the back a little bit, because that means you're just a little front heavy. So push down on the back, and then that'll obviously make your front of your phone just wheelie up a little bit. All good to go, all installed.